Sullivan. What are you doing?
The voice was like a whip crack. Mr. Davison, her department head, was standing behind her, his face like thunder. Chloe jumped, slamming the laptop shut. I was just organizing, and I must have clicked the wrong link.
That is a restricted, level 5 security folder,
he said, his voice low and dangerous.
Your intern clearance does not, and will never, grant you access. Consider this your first and only warning. A second breach will result in immediate termination.
He walked away, leaving Chloe shaking at her desk, a mix of fear and indignation boiling inside her. As she packed up to leave, humiliated, Sarah from the marketing team slid into the cubicle next to her. You have no idea how close you just got, she whispered, her eyes wide. To what? Chloe whispered back. They say the file properties in that folder, the original metadata, it doesn't say, the scribe. It's tagged with a real, legal name. Chloe's fear was instantly replaced by a sharp, thrilling curiosity. She had been shut down, but the hunt was far from over. In fact, it had just gotten a lot more interesting. And I was completely unaware that my sister had just gotten a dangerous step closer to my truth. The office gossip about the scribe was a low, constant hum, and Chloe was its newest, most eager conductor. She'd linger by the coffee machine, subtly steering conversations. Do you think the scribe and Kaylin are the same person? A junior designer asked one day. I don't think so, Chloe said, lowering her voice conspiratorially. I heard they had a huge falling out years ago. That's why the scribe is never seen. Eyebrows raised. The rumor spread. Another time, she overheard two programmers debating the scribe's gender. It's got to be a man, one said. The art is too epic. Chloe jumped in. Or maybe that's what they want you to think. The anonymity could be a way to avoid prejudice. I think it's a woman. Her theory gained traction. Chloe thinks the scribe is a woman, became a new topic in the lunchroom. Through it all, she was also weaving a different fantasy. Leo. Every time he walked past her desk and gave a generic, polite smile, she took it as a personal sign of interest. She called me one night, Giddy. He smiled at me today, Maya. A real, genuine smile. Who? I asked, though I already knew. Leo. Kaylin. He's so brilliant. And he's so mysterious when it comes to the scribe. It's like this shared secret between them. She sighed dramatically. I think he might like me. If I get close to him, I'm sure he'll eventually tell me who the scribe is. He'll trust me with the secret. My stomach churned. Chloe, that's probably not a good idea. Mixing work and personal stuff. Don't be such a downer, she scoffed. It's the perfect plan. Get the boss to fall for me, and all the company's secrets will be mine. She hung up, lost in her romantic daydream. I put my phone down, a knot of dread tightening in my stomach. At that exact moment, my work phone buzzed. A text from Leo. Hey scribe, need your eyes on the new character designs for the ice golem. The proportions are off. Emergency meeting? My office in an hour? I looked from my personal phone, still warm from Chloe's call, to my work phone. Two worlds were on a collision course, and my sister was gleefully laying down the tracks. She was playing with fire, and she was going to get us both burned. I hated going to the office. It was a risk every time. But some things couldn't be done remotely, especially when dealing with sensitive, unreleased hardware. The new haptic feedback controllers for the Realm of Myth VR edition were having a calibration issue that only I could solve. I waited until well after 8 p.m., when the building was mostly empty. I used my private keycard on the back entrance and took the stairs to the executive floor, my hoodie pulled up. Leo's office was dark except for the cool blue glow of his monitors. Scribe, he said, a relieved smile on his face. Thank you for coming. Let's see the problem, I said, getting straight to work. For the next 2 hours, we were in our element. Him, talking through the user experience problems, me, diving into the code, adjusting the art assets, my hands a blur on the keyboard and tablet. We spoke in a kind of shorthand, a language of creation that we'd built over years. That's it, I finally said, leaning back. The VR golem on the screen now moved with a weight and power that was perfectly synced to the controller's rumble. It's fixed. You're a wizard, Leo said, clapping me on the shoulder. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'd have a very shaky ice golem, I deadpanned. I packed my tablet into my backpack, feeling the exhaustion of the intense focus. I'm heading out. Don't stay too late. No promises. See you, scribe. I slipped out of his office and into the dimly lit hallway. I was almost to the stairwell door when a voice cut through the silence, sharp and accusatory. Maya? I froze. Slowly, I turned. Chloe was standing there, holding a stack of files, her face a mask of shock and confusion. She was supposed to be long gone. What are you doing here? She demanded, her eyes flicking from me to the door of Leo's office and back. Her gaze zeroed in on my backpack. And why were you in there with my boss? My mind went blank. 1,000 lies raced through my head, but none of them would stick. She took a step closer, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. I knew you were weird, Maya, but this is pathetic. Following him? Trying to get a job through the back door because you're jealous of me? She crossed her arms, a triumphant, disgusted look on her face. You need to stay away from him. You don't belong in his world. You don't belong here. I didn't say a word. I just turned and pushed through the stairwell door, her poisonous words echoing in the silence. Oh, Chloe. I built his world. The fallout was swift and brutal. I got home to a barrage of angry texts from Chloe. How dare you embarrass me like that? Stay away from my job. I can't believe you'd stalk Leo. You're sick. I didn't respond. What could I say? The next day, my phone rang. It was my mom. Her voice was strained, anxious. Maya, honey, Chloe called us. She's very upset. I closed my eyes, leaning my head against the wall. What did she say, Mom? She said she found you at her office last night. In her boss's office after hours. She says you have an unhealthy obsession with this man. Mom's voice was gentle, pained. She's worried about you. We're worried about you. My throat tightened. Chloe had spun her version of the truth, painting me as the unstable, jealous sister. It's not like that, Mom. I was there for work. Work? She asked, confused. What kind of work? Honey, maybe it's time to move on from that place. Chloe says you're not fitting in. She says you're lingering around her workplace, making a scene. A scene. Of course. I was the problem. I was the one causing drama in Chloe's perfect new life. I'm not making a scene, I said, my voice quiet but firm. Mom sighed, a world of disappointment in that single sound. We just want you to be happy, Maya. Chloe is building a real future for herself there. Maybe you need to focus on your own path. A fresh start, somewhere you can be happy. A fresh start? She was asking me to walk away from the company I co-founded. From the life I had built in the shadows, precisely to avoid this kind of drama. I felt a cold resolve settle over me. I had tried to be the calm one, the quiet one. I had tried to avoid the spotlight. But Chloe was trying to push me out of my own life. I have to go, Mom, I said, my voice strangely flat. I hung up the phone, the knot in my stomach hardening into something else. Something determined. A fresh start? This is just the beginning. To her credit, Chloe was a hard worker. When she wasn't gossiping or hunting for the scribe, she was genuinely talented. She drafted a proposal for streamlining the community feedback system that was sharp, insightful, and practical. It landed on my digital desk for final approval, as all departmental budget and workflow proposals did. I read through it carefully. It was good. Really good. It would save time and make the players feel more heard. I forwarded it to Leo with a single note: approve this. It's a solid plan. He wrote back instantly, you sure? After everything? I typed back, her work is separate from her drama. This is good for the company. I clicked approve. A week later, the company-wide announcement email went out. Chloe Sullivan was promoted to junior community manager. She got a pay raise, a new title, and a small, but significant, credit in the next patch notes. She called me, her voice bursting with triumph. I told you. I told you I would go far. They see my potential, Maya. Leo sees it. I could practically see her beaming through the phone. That's great, Chloe. Congratulations. This is just the start, she gushed. I'm going to keep impressing him. He's the key to everything. That evening, I was reviewing the launch trailer for the Shadowfen expansion. The final credits rolled at the end. There, on the massive company-wide screen that everyone saw when they logged in, was a special section. Special thanks for community integration, Chloe Sullivan. Her name, in elegant type, flashed for a moment. I could imagine her pride. And right below it, in huge, bold, iconic letters that defined the entire game, was the credit that truly mattered. Artistic vision and world building, the scribe. I sat in the dark of my apartment, watching my public identity and my private one exist on the same screen. She was celebrating her tiny victory, completely oblivious to the fact that she was celebrating in the shadow of my monumental success. She was so proud of her name on the screen, never realizing it was my signature that gave it value. The calm didn't last. A week later, my phone exploded. It was Leo, and he was frantic. Scribe, we have a problem. A huge one. I was already pulling up news sites on my computer. What is it? Gamers Nexus just published a story. They have a source, an anonymous tip, claiming that I'm a fraud. That Kaylin is just a pretty face. They're saying the scribe doesn't exist, that it's a marketing construct we made up to make the company seem more mysterious. My blood ran cold. What? They're saying all the art is outsourced to a cheap studio and I take the credit. Our stock price is tanking. The forums are going insane. This was a nightmare. Our entire brand was built on the quality and vision of the art. The mystery of the scribe was part of that, but the foundation was the belief that the genius was real. We need to put out a statement, I said, my mind racing. We have to show them proof. What proof? Leo's voice was desperate. We can't reveal you. That's the whole point of your contract. We're trapped. He was right. My insistence on anonymity, which had always been my shield, was now a cage. We'll figure it out, Leo. Let me think. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. When he spoke again, his voice was low and grim. Maya. I had security run a trace on the leak. The anonymous tip was sent from a proxy server, but the original data they referenced, internal documents about your contract, they were accessed from a terminal in the intern bullpen. My heart stopped. No. It's circumstantial, but I think your sister is involved. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Chloe's hunt for the scribe had just escalated from a nuisance to corporate sabotage. My own secret was being used to destroy everything I had built. The pressure on Leo was immense. The board was demanding answers. He had to act. He called Chloe into his office for a meeting about her new role. I heard about it later from a horrified Sarah in marketing, who had been passing by. He was so calm about it, she told me over coffee. He just asked her if she had heard any rumors about the scribe lately, or if anyone had been asking her strange questions. You know, feeling out if she might have been used by someone else. But Chloe hadn't taken it as a gentle inquiry. She had taken it as an accusation. She totally blew up, Sarah whispered. She started crying, saying he didn't trust her, that she would never do anything to hurt the company. She said it was probably someone jealous of her quick promotion. She was, kind of a mess. Leo, apparently, had tried to calm her down, but it was too late. Humiliated and enraged, Chloe had stormed out of his office. That night, I was in my apartment, trying to code, but my mind was a whirlwind of anxiety. My front door suddenly flew open with such force it slammed against the wall. Chloe stood there, her face streaked with tears and twisted in fury. She must have used her key in a blind rage. "What did you tell him about me?" she screamed. I stood up, my chair rolling back. "Chloe, what are you talking about? You told him I was a spy. You told him I leaked that information." She advanced on me, her finger jabbing the air. "You've always been jealous of me. So now you're trying to ruin my life. You're trying to get me fired." She grabbed my shoulders, her nails digging into my skin through my shirt. Her eyes were wild, desperate. "Why?" she sobbed, shaking me. "Why are you trying to destroy everything I've worked for?" I looked into her face, a mask of pain and misunderstanding. The truth was right there, on the tip of my tongue. I am the scribe. I would never destroy the company I built from nothing. But I couldn't say it. Not like this. Not in the middle of her hysterics. I just stood there, silent, as she screamed at me, her words bouncing off the walls of the sanctuary I had built for myself. "You're destroying it yourself, Chloe. You just can't see it." After Chloe finally left, slamming the door behind her, the silence in my apartment felt heavy and accusing. I couldn't let this stand. I had to know for sure. I logged into the Ethelgard server, using my highest level admin clearance, a backdoor not even Leo knew I had. I pulled up the security logs for the past month, focusing on the intern network sector. It was a sea of data. Logins, logouts, file accesses, print jobs. I created a filter, looking for any activity related to files containing the keyword scribe. Dozens of entries popped up, mostly people accessing public concept art. Then I saw it. A single, solitary search query, run from a terminal registered to Chloe's employee ID. It wasn't a file access. It was a search of the company's internal legal database. The query was, Ethelgard Scribe real name lawsuit. My breath caught in my throat. She wasn't just gossiping. She was actively digging. She was looking for a legal way to force my identity into the open, perhaps thinking there was a lawsuit that would reveal it. The timestamp was from 2 days before the Gamers Nexus story broke. It wasn't conclusive proof that she was the leak. The leak used more sophisticated methods. But it was proof of intent. Proof that she was hunting, with a determination that was now threatening my life's work. I stared at the screen, the lines of code and timestamps blurring together. There it was, a digital fingerprint as clear as a signed confession. The user ID, C_Sullivan_intern. I had the evidence in my hands. I could take it to Leo, to HR. I could have her fired. I could end this. But as I looked at her employee ID on the screen, all I could see was my big sister, teaching me how to ride a bike. My finger hovered over the export report button. The truth was in the machine, and it was a weapon.